Yes, I do also want to just real quick. I know Cheryl Morris from Salesforce, one of our amazing solutions engineers, is here as well, supporting in the chat and just making sure that any questions that come up we can get answered. So she's part of the team, just not necessarily at the moment.
Yeah,
sounds
and
good.
for my team, I've got Curtis Lewis in the chat and the Q&A as well. He is one of the two people who did the majority of this implementation, and he's going to be featured in a lot of the story. So you get the official Salesforce answer, and then you get the wonderful, interesting, nuanced IWU answer. Yeah.
Would you say the real answer?
No, I can't say real answer. Yeah. All right. So what you'll notice here with the slides, yes, we use AI a lot. And if you click on to the next one, Claude tried to produce off-brand logos. At first, I was like, should I reach out and get an official one? But no, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. My name is Josh Grace. We're going to do this a little bit different, maybe than some of the other presentations, because I am a little bit different, but also because this is, I think, the last session, and we've got a great opportunity here to have wonderful interaction in the chat, in the Q&A. So go ahead and start posting any of your random Salesforce Marketing Cloud questions and stuff. I am going to be talking a lot, and I don't have that refined, beautiful slideshow that many of the other people had. What I have are videos, because what I heard was you guys want to be able to see in a live kind of environment what this new Marketing Cloud looks like IRL, and I've got some of those, as well as to share with you the story of what our experience was, why we decided to make this move, and maybe even what you can share with leadership, or if your leaders are here in this space, what you need to think about as far as jumping into this new space. So yeah, everything started here actually in Chicago. I don't live here. Indiana Wesleyan University, we are in Indiana. Go figure. Surprise, surprise. But we were at Education Summit, and I was looking at my team. I had my whole team there, and I said, folks, we need to be more innovative, like what leaders tend to say, right? But not actually do or support. And we wanted to do something different, particularly in our outbound email setup. We wanted to use more AI tools. We wanted to go out there a little bit. And what we did was we started having conversations with a competitor. I could probably say the competitor's name.
Absolutely.
Here? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just joking. I would have said it anyway. We were talking to HubSpot, and I was like, HubSpot, let me show you. Let me see what you can do. Some of the platform, other content generation platforms we were looking at, integrated really well with it, but ultimately, I didn't feel like it fit the type of organization, maybe the size of the organization that we are. And there was this new finagled thing that they started murmuring about, and we wanted to check it out. So Sunny, our amazing Salesforce account manager, was there in the space. She contacted Joel, but Joel was having a baby, and so she reached right out to the previous account manager, who then reached out to you because they were making an account manager change.
Yep.
And then, the typical Salesforce experience, right? And, but Matt got us hooked up. He showed us, he got a solutions consultant and did the whole demonstration. And it was exciting. It was very exciting. I had a few of my staff members there, and I said, guys, what would you like to do? Do you think this is something that would be good? They're like, yes. And then I asked another question, maybe one that they weren't quite expecting. I asked them, hey, could we do this? Could we do the implementation instead of going through a partner to do the implementation? And they said, sure, right? That was Alec doesn't actually talk like that. He's happy, but he's monotone. But he's like, yeah, sure, right? And so that's what we did. We set to do that initially. Now, I did talk to our primary partner is Tondro, and I was chatting with Vadim. I was like, Vadim, do you think we can do this? And he said, with time and money, you can do anything. Anything's possible. And we decided to do neither. We did the implementation in 3 months, but really 2 months. And we did it all internally. And it was an adventure. And I'm going to take you guys on the adventure. But before we go to the video and play the video, I just want to say to those leaders out there, saying you want to be innovative, say the words. I tell my team all the time, say the thing, say it out loud. If you have a question, say it. If you want to say something in the chat, right? Say it. Like, just say it out loud, and then let's figure it out together. And this was one of the many things that my team can look back on and actually see, like, yeah, we had this wild idea, and then, yeah, we actually did it.
Made it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead and show this first one. For those of you who have dabbled into the data graph space, you might know and hate this space. This was the thing in the implementation that took the longest. This is the data graph. This is the thing that connects your Salesforce data across multiple platforms. I was talking to Alec. Alec is the one who did a lot of this setup, particularly at the start. He told me initially data graph took him 30 hours. More recently, he was more realistic with me, and it was probably 100 hours. But learning this is absolutely crucial and essential in moving forward in Salesforce land. This is the thing that's going to enable you not just to connect to this new Marketing Cloud platform and direct information accordingly. This is the thing that's going to enable you to connect across clouds as well. Now, I do know for you education cloud people out there, and yes, I know that you're looking at my contact object information, and yes, I do call it the kitchen drawer of our Salesforce org, because everything ends up going in there. You know you do it too. Don't give me that side eye there, right? And so like doing this work, this manual work with the data graph is very useful and is a great investment in you as an organization. Not only is this a great thing to jump into and experiment with in your Salesforce life, but there are other platforms like Microsoft and other platforms that use data graph as well. So I'm just pointing that out. This took a lot of time to set up. And now that we have that knowledge, if we want to build a custom object or create some custom fields, we have the knowledge and know-how to be able to pull that into working with our Marketing Cloud segmentation and data. So I wanted to highlight that, but that was really the first step that we took in our implementation journey. It took a lot of time and energy. And if you have any specific data graph questions, now's a great time to post it in the Q&A, post it in the chat, get the interaction from Cheryl. And Curtis has since been doing a lot of work in data graph and probably has some really cool ideas. Or if you have an idea, go ahead and post that in the chat. Also, I forgot to ask, I have a question for you. Where can you find a turtle with no legs? I want to see your answers. Let's continue with the presentation. I'm not seeing any answers yet.
So real quick, any big, like the one big aha from the data graph?
The one big aha from the data graph was really how long. Oh, okay. Okay. This is a little bit of insider information. Some of the data kits are helpful. Some of the data kits are not helpful.
Okay.
And so if you set this up, make sure you're testing this data, make sure you're really trying to make sure all of this is working and functional, because it might not work as advertised. I'm not seeing anything in the chat about the turtle with no legs. Turtle. Where can you find a turtle with no legs? Let's continue. All right.
Is it at IWU?
No, it's not. Wait, candy. Ooh. Candy store. That would be fascinating. Can turtles eat candy? I will have to ask Claude that later, because I ask Claude everything in my life. Now, the next part in the journey was, now that we have the data flowing theoretically where it needs to, yes, I was leading into what I was going to talk about next, which is flows. Yeah, I know you Marketing Cloud people out there. You've been all caught up in your journeys and your stories and stuff, but hey, there's a flow. And flow is one of the primary reasons why we decided to make this transition. Not just to do something different or innovative, but Alec, who is our main Salesforce, what's the platform? Oh, Marketing Cloud platform person, support person, he was our only one. And he was the only one logging into that system and working in flows. But I have other staff members who work in Salesforce every single day, and they work in flow. So to have an entire suite of people to be able to support the work of one person it's incredibly valuable. And making that transition was not too difficult. So go ahead and play the next video clip. This is Curtis going through and generating a flow for some of you who maybe haven't done that before. And what you'll notice is there's a similar feel to the journeys, but it's all baked within all having a lot of the same resources that one typically would be experiencing as you're building flows in that in standard core Salesforce. Being able to select which fields, how it goes, redirecting down different tracks. There's a lot of stuff there and a lot of opportunity there as well. This also took time because, and Curtis had wonderful experience with this, because in our instance, we decided to move from one to the other, flip a massive switch, and just like let the new one go live. All right, that I know for the leaders who maybe you're watching this or listening to this, just like you, our primary source of revenue happens through many of these email engagements and phone calls and all of that admissions activity. But we decided to take a chance and do this anyway. And it's because of the ingenuity of the staff members. It was because of their knowledge of flow and knowing that we could set things up, knowing that we would take the time to take every single journey and convert it into a flow one at a time and test it one at a time. We were able to make that commitment and make that jump. If you are wanting to do this, and I'm actually doing a presentation with Rawlings Sports tomorrow at the Salesforce Connections, if you are wanting to do this, you can just start to set this up, build a few flows, try a few of the new features, get provision for some of those credits, and go live with those things. You don't have to do the entire conversion. And based on what I'm seeing, there's going to be more and more tools helping you transition from one to the next. And so it is in the new environment. It's very approachable for people who are already accustomed to the Salesforce experience. Yes, in the Marketing Cloud engagement space, it is a bit of a different feel, right? But nonetheless, like making that transition, that is another thing that can really, really benefit you. Answer to the question, I did see it up there. Yes, exactly where you left it, because it has no arms and legs. And yeah, I told that joke in front of a bunch of students, and one of the students says he was offended because his mom is a turtle. And if you've ever interacted with learners, you know that feeling of telling a joke. And
how many total flows do you think you have going now?
I don't know. Curtis could probably answer that.
Dozens, hundreds?
I mean, probably hundreds. But then in my mind, I'm not just considering the Marketing Cloud flows. I'm also considering all of our flows.
Oh, okay.
As well.
How about just straight marketing specific flows?
Yeah, I would have to. I would have to.
Curtis, see if you can pull that.
Yeah, Curtis, post that in the chat. How many flows? Marketing Cloud. Oh, yeah, he already did it because he's Curtis Lewis and he's just at another level. Yes, and he built those 150-ish flows.
It's amazing.
He is amazing. All right. Next, I want to go to the next video, and this is segmentation. And since we've set up the data graph, now that you've kind of have an imagination for what the flows look like, and also I don't have any chocolate. My apologies, Liz. Yes, I am watching the comments. I can chew gum and walk and talk at the same time. It's amazing. And yes, I am always like this. You can ask Curtis. They mute me during Teams calls. Facts. This is what the segmentation experience looks like. And you'll notice very approachable, not just from a technical SQL perspective, but also very click friendly as well. And really what I want to do, because I know we're running a little bit shorter on time than I expected at this point, had to make a few pivots with the presentation, but what this has unlocked for my team is that we are able to do more in a quicker amount of time. And that's important, but we're able to do that because we have some really high, execution style individuals who work in this space. Anyone else might be able to stand this up. And yes, it's going to make your work more approachable, and not just approachable from people who work and live in a technical space, but also for people who live and work in a more creative space as well. If you go through and set up the configuration, and I know, shout out to Cheryl, she's going to be doing a presentation soon, nestling this out of the campaign concept, you can empower individuals to be able to learn how to set some of this stuff up, go back through, help them with the technical details, do some quick, quality control work, and launch these things out and give your folks more flexibility as far as who is in a campaign, how they're going inside and outside of a campaign too. From this clip, because I'm wanting to move on to the Q&A and do even more Q&A, if that's at all possible, go ahead and play the next clip as I continue to talk about what the future looks like. Because this new marketing cloud example, this new marketing cloud space has supported our use of Claude code. Yes, I am Claude pilled. I'm okay with that. I feel like my Claude subscription, just like I do my Costco subscription, can I live without it? Yes, but I feel like I would be losing a member of my family.
Define pilled, Claude.
Claude pilled. So this is the word that people use for people who are just sold out on Claude.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You can't get enough.
I can't get enough. And you'll see from things like this, because if you do the background work in which we stood up all the connections, the MCP connections, which are now deemed as headless 360. So that's like the Salesforce supported stack of APIs. We are able to do what you're seeing here, which is, hey, I wanna make a communication that looks just like this, and here's this is the segment that I want it to look like, and here's the contents of that email. Click a button and it stands that up. And this takes someone like Curtis, who's already doing, like, he's a 10x player, but it helps him get to that next 10%, or that next 10x, not 10%. Sorry, Curtis. I know you're here, so you heard me mess that up. But it helps him to be able to continue to do more. So whenever our VP of admissions or enrollment, sorry, Amanda, has this incredible off the wall idea, or we're in a conversation about some creative element and something that, hits, then she can turn around, talk to Curtis. We can stand something up, throw it live in production in record time. And it is wild what you can do in this new space.
Josh, when you say record time, what does that mean?
So Curtis is able to do things in hours what took him a week or longer to do. And I know there's people who are trying to sell you things who will tell you that thing. In my instance, this is something that we're actually living and seeing. And because of the approach that we're taking and this creativity that we've inspired within our organization, the stuff that we're putting out is actually quality. It's not just slop. It's not just something that, might look cool, but ends up just being absolute garbage. Like, the things that we're putting out is, in our view, in our mentality, is actually pretty good, pretty decent. And it's exciting to what a future that I see, which is you can have a few technical experts, but then you can have a whole lot more thought leaders and content experts, and enable those content experts to make their ideas live, have the technical experts check it and make sure it's going to function well. And this is the future that we could potentially live in. Also, a few other things that we were able to produce out of this in creativity is Alec, who is the person who primarily on my team did this implementation, has been inspired enough to be able to start his own side business. And now he's doing Purposeforce, which is doing Salesforce implementations for nonprofits. Curtis is always contributing new and incredible, innovative ideas. And now I guess let's move to the Q&A. Yeah.
Can I say one thing? Curtis had a statistic when we were prepping and doing the dry run around how much more efficient he is. Curtis, I saw you put it in there. But you gave me a X to X.
Yeah.
So what's that number?
He said 100X. Now, yes, 100X from the standard person. He's already a 10Xer, and a 10X is him. So I guess I'll give it to you, Curtis.
So, but he had said, yes,
Yeah,
I literally am 20 to 50 times more efficient in the things that I want to do because we've set up the data.
Yeah.
We've done that work, and now we can truly take advantage.
Yeah. And Matt knows firsthand, we're not hype men. Like, we are very realistic. If we have a problem, we're very upfront about it.
Yes.
There were some feature parity issues whenever we made the jump. We did some workarounds, but I'm happy to say, I think it was last week or this week, now we are at feature parity as far as what we're able to do. And
the last piece
of
the puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we questions?
Yeah. Where are the questions?
Yeah, you've got some in the Q&A. I can help too. Doug Bennett is asking, how did you test personalization in the data graph when you're personalizing from child objects? They went with a different route because they didn't like the data graph and ended up using Apex variables.
Yeah, that's a Curtis question.
Sounds good. Oh, and I just see that Curtis in there. Sorry, for some reason I have to open it in order to see that he replied. So there is an answer to your question there, Doug. He said they're primarily tested by checking Marketing Cloud emails. I asked about who was building the flows for you. So maybe to broaden that, like if you could just talk about like who's building some of these things out for the various users, and is that like an admin or an end user?
Yeah, it's an admin at this point in time. Yeah.
Okay. Is that Curtis? Curtis sounds awesome.
But once we fully vet and test these tools, there might be individuals who we start to open up the possibilities to. I really want to empower our thought leaders and our folks around campus to be able to throw out their ideas more and more.
Yeah. There's Curtis. Okay, so it sounds like Curtis then is the one that's actually doing the building for any email that's getting out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Nathan O'Day, I'll post this one. Coming from Pardot, which we use for everything, my main concern is how cost will scale. How can I know what this will do to budget, and how can I create a path to fully retire Pardot?
Do you want to cover that, or do you want me to add my?
I want you to absolutely. Give the unvarnished.
For us, it was a great transition because the way it's budgeted, like we were paying for contacts in Marketing Cloud in what we were in previously, and now we're on like credits, and it's been working out really, really well for us. In fact, we even have some space to be able to try out a few other things as well, which Curtis is having a lot of fun with, and Alec is as well, along with a few other members of my team. I will say on the Rawlings side, they're occasionally having to go through and request more credits, but how are you guys handling that transition?
So there, like anything, it depends, but I think Nathan, your question, it's a great question. The first thing we have to do is truly understand how your communication and your data sources are piecing together. We absolutely know and realize and understand that the consumption concern, I'll call that, right? But absolutely sitting down and understanding the different data sources you're looking to bring together, how often you're looking to communicate. I think we're getting to the point where we can get a really pretty darn good assumption from how many credits you would need or how you would be able to fill in that consumption to make sure that you're not crazy overspending. So it would absolutely entail a more in-depth conversation, but 100% believe we can help get you there. Cheryl, I guess anything else you'd add to that?
Yeah, I'm just going to add that, both for our account engagement users today, as well as for our Marketing Cloud engagement users today, there are learning maps, and as well as paths that we can provide as some follow-up resources that walk you through, what can that look like for your institution. And, as Josh said, it can be a faster process. It can be a more gradual process. And in terms of, what do those costs look like? As Matt said, it's really helping, us understand what are the different data sources you want to bring together, what sorts of actions you want to take. If there's also maybe new use cases that you'd be bringing on board as part of some of the next gen use cases. So always helpful to understand that. But our goal is to make it as seamless of an adoption process as you start to bring on those next gen features versus feeling like you have to, abandon what you're doing today. That's not our goal. We want to make sure that it's more additive in terms of using these new features. And while I'm actually off mute, I'm just going to quickly say I'm going to drop 2 links in the chat. One is a link to a clickable guided tour that you all can click through that walks you through what the next gen platform looks like, as well as a quick peek at what it means for Marketing Cloud engagement users today and where you might be able to get started. And I also am going to include a link to an interest form in some webinars that I'm planning for this summer, where we'll go deeper into some of the topics that Josh touched on today.
Yeah, Cheryl, on a scale from 1 to 10, how hard was it to fact check me?
You're doing great, Josh. You are. And you know what, I think in terms of the data graph, you touched on an area that is really valuable in terms of thinking about how do we use that unified data within Data 360 to then surface that data for various personalization reasons. And I actually want to give a shout out to Jonathan Mayer, who I know presented earlier, talking even about the consent model. So there's a lot of great things that we can dig into even deeper in terms of, how you think about next gen marketing. So a lot that I hope to follow up with you all on some webinars soon.
Thanks. What other questions do you have, folks?
I'm seeing a couple others that were answered in the chat. One that has not been answered, or sorry, in the Q&A was, is Data 360 required? And did your team implement that yourselves as well? Oops, sorry.
Yes, and we did.
Is required and you implemented yourselves? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Dean asked, and I'll just, until I see another one, is Claude Code connected to your Salesforce environment so it can see and leverage the metadata? And Curtis answered yes, with some more detail in the Q&A. Any other questions? I see one that we did not answer live from Doug Bennett. Can you show an activation you used for a segment? And if you added filter criteria to the activation? Curtis answered, Curtis is killing it. The primary use case for segments is segment-based flows.
I told you.
Not a typical use case.
There's so much more I would love to share with you folks, but it's all about, leaders empowering people to do new and different things, testing things, trying things, watching it transform your team. The more you empower them, and I really make the call out there. Pick a project, pick something ambitious, try it. You can do it in a safer way than we did. I'm just so built weird, but try something.
Yeah, I think we have time for one more question from Nathan. So I'm just going to highlight this on the screen. I'm hearing turn on next gen features language for Pardot. Is it not an all or nothing product switch?
I don't believe.
Yeah, gosh, I was gonna say I could jump in there if that would be helpful. I wouldn't think about it as an all or nothing. There is, the decision to basically say, yes, I want to start using these next gen features. And as part of that, one of the first steps would be that you do provision Data 360, because that is what's going to provide that unified data foundation and even be where you store your engagement data, for example, from your marketing campaigns. That does not mean that, as soon as that happens, you need to run all of your campaigns through next gen. It is designed to be a gradual process if you want that to be. So particularly for our account engagement or Pardot users today, it can mean that you are continuing to run campaigns through engagement studios and then also experimenting with some of the next gen tooling. You can even share assets across with your CMS as part of that process. So very much is intended to be gradual as much as you want it to be.
Great. Well, I think with that, I think we're doing a really great job on time. And so I know we have kind of a transition here in just a moment, but Thank you, everybody. Curtis, Matt, Josh, Cheryl, everybody on the screen. Thank you so much for your help in answering all of these. We appreciate it so much.